So let me, I will show you what are the steps we are following here. So like you need to go to your job info, and inside the job info, like
so right now we are looking at the 16-step guide or 24-step guide. Which one?
24 steps guide only, but this 16 steps is a subset of this 24 steps. Okay. So there are some additional steps I have given, like some related to time off and all. Okay.
So which
So those
step are we looking at? One?
we are looking at the one, refining the succession data model that we are looking
Okay.
at. Yeah. So if I go to the first one, so let me at the same time let me go to the system as well so that it will be more clarity. Okay. So let me go to there.
This conference will now be recorded.
So here you can see we have already discussed step number 3, that was regarding your data model, where we have done the corporate data model changes. We have seen there how to do those changes in the XML and all. Okay. Step number 4 is regarding your MDF related information. It is very similar to your step number 2. Okay. So what we are trying to do in this particular step, so as per the SAP recommendations, you have to change your length of this particular HRIS elements. Okay. So as for the SAP recommendations, whatever those, whether it is a legal entity, whether it is the cost center, okay. So here you can see clearly they have modified those specific changes. The basically the character length, okay. So whatever the character length recommended by in the implementation guide, okay, that we need to follow here. Okay. So that is the 4th step regarding your refining your MDF objects. Okay. So regarding the 5th step, it is again regarding your pick list. Okay. So 5th step is not very difficult. Like at present, we are not using this. If you have heard about it, it is little older. This document is little older. Okay. So generally, we are not doing these days downloading pick list. We are not doing directly. We are going into the pick list center, and we get from here directly we change whatever is required. Okay. So like you do not have to previously any pick list changes you have to do manual means upload download you have to do, even if it is a small changes. So at present we are not doing that. So this is a small changes which you do not have to follow the SAP Learning Hub or this all-in-one P2P guide, because that is not been updated. Okay. So at present what we are doing directly, if anything is going to change in the pick list, directly you need to go to your pick list center. Previously it was not there. So pick list center need to go and you have to change directly from there. So pick list center. Okay. So here I can see I can find my specific pick list. So suppose I'm talking about which are payroll related. Let me go there. If anything is payroll related, let me check. Which are pay scale type or pay scale grouping. Okay, pay grade level. Okay. So here if I go to a particular pick list, I can see that particular pick list. It is already active. Okay. So here you can find out all these particular values. Okay. So previously what we used to do, for any small changes, we have to import and export. But here directly you can add new value. So this is the more simpler these days. Okay. So whatever changes you'll be doing directly, you can add your new value. Okay. Whatever is relevant for you. Okay. So simply just add your external code level and your parent pick list values and whatever is required for you. Okay. So you do not have to import and export, even if the guide says you have to follow this, but it's little outdated one. So I will be just making it a note if you do not have to follow it. So step number 5, it will be different. Even if it is there in the learning hub also they have not updated it. Okay. So I have raised a request for that as well in SAP. Like this is a really outdated one. Okay. So configuration step number 5, it has to be done in the pick list center, not from the import export. We are not using this one. Okay. So that is a small changes here in the step number 5. Okay. So this export import is no more existing. We're not doing it. So this is regarding your step number 5. Then next one is your step number 6 as per this guide. So here custom field for work schedule. Okay, so like this is again similar to your pick list only. So whatever the work schedule you are having, okay, that you will be configuring. Okay, so generally EC consultant or the time consultant generally they do it. Okay, so whatever the time your work schedule that you need to configure, that you have to ensure it is in place. Okay, and same thing should be configured in your EC payroll as well. Similar kind of thing. So this one also it is outdated here. We are not doing importing, exporting, rather directly from the picklist center. You can find out those stuff here. Suppose if I'm going to picklist center again. If I start shift schedule and all, okay, I can identify what are the scheduled time schedule I'm following. It is not working. Yeah. So there are different shift schedule has been configured. If anything is required to change here or anything you would like to add here, you can add it here. Okay. So this is again in the simulation guide or in the whenever you'll be going through this step number 6 in your learning hub, you can skip it. This topic step number 5 and step number 6 these are no longer valid. Okay. So we follow a different approach. Okay. So that you can follow directly in the picklist center. We are not using this upload import export thing. Okay, so that you need to follow. This was my step number 6 here, and as per my guide also we are having a different sequence here. Now defining pick list, as I was mentioning, this is you have to follow a different structure, like we have to go to the pick list center rather, not your this all-in-one P2P guide. Okay, pick list center you need to follow. And similarly, pay scale setup, as I was explaining. So this is also example of your one of the pick list, right? Yeah. You have any question here?
No, that's fine.
Okay. And similarly for your work schedule, which I was explaining. Okay. So similarly, you have to follow the pick list center approach only, not the import export steps here. Okay. So this is just to refine your or whatever things you've already configured in your EC. Okay. Or you are planning to configure in EC. So you have to ensure this must be there in place. Okay. So you have to for this also you have to follow your pick list center, not your guide or in the learning hub. Okay. Same goes with your if anything custom field is there in your work schedules. Okay, that you have to also ensure that is in place. Okay. So if you go to the next step in the guide. So they have also done the same similar changes in your succession data model. In succession data model, again, you have to go to that manage business configuration and whatever is required for that time off or work schedule. Okay, by going to the job info. Okay, so by going to the job info, you can do those changes for those. Sorry, it has been marked. So let me go to the particular step. I will show you where exactly it will be done. Okay. So this you have to make it a mandatory work schedule. By default, it comes as a no. Okay. So you have to make that field as a mandatory field. Okay, the work schedule and all. So that is your this particular step. And pick list, as usual, you do not have to import export. You have to do whatever changes required. You have to do in your pick list center. So the difference, what is the difference between step number 6 and 7? So in the step number 7, what exactly we are doing? We are also enhancing the data model. Okay. So even if it looks very similar, the custom field for work schedule, custom field for work schedule. In the step number 7, we are just doing those things in the pick list center. And in this step number 8, we are simply going to the data model. That is my succession data model, similar to your step number 1, but it is related to work schedule. We are simply going there and you are simply updating that field as a mandatory field for my payroll to work. Okay. So this is my step number 8 which we are going to do. Okay, we're simply enhancing that data model. This is regarding a step. This is another set. So now the step number 9 to 15, this is related to your employee profile. Okay, so what are the employee related profile related things you'll be doing? Okay, some of the steps which we have already seen, like your setting of your payroll configuration, payroll unified configuration. So this you have to ensure before we go for integration. Like in the payroll unified configuration step number 12, we have seen previously, like suppose I'm working for 2 different countries payroll, like say US and Canada. Only those things I have to activate in my payroll unified configuration. Okay. Similarly, so step number 14 is regarding your payroll system configuration per country. Okay, so for individual country, I need to go and what are the info types to be shown there, what are the services to be shown there, like pay statement. If you are working for US and Canada, garnishment should be there. Okay, so I have to ensure those steps must be in place. That is my step number 14. Other than that, if you're having any custom info type you have created for your country, okay, that you can include. Okay, so in this payroll unified configuration and all. Okay, so these are actually the very minor thing. Okay, step number 9 to 15. Okay, but what are the things you have to make sure that is in place? Okay, that is in my from employee central point of view. What are the steps I need to follow? Okay, so like we can see that. Okay. So the payroll configuration which you have already seen, like I need to go to the manage data and those specific configuration for your payroll. Okay, whatever the country you would like to see. So this one again I will show you. So just to recap it. Okay, so if I go to my system and I will show you in the manage data. If I go to manage data, so under manage data, I need to go to the specific configuration for my payroll. So here you will be finding all the stuff, payroll control center configurations. So here, this is already in place. Okay, if you're doing for the first time, simply you have to create a new here. Okay, so at present I have already this one I'm already having. Otherwise, you can create from the scratch. Okay, so this is regarding your managed data in your simply you have to put here payroll system configuration, whatever you're going to configure, whether it is a system assignment or if your payroll system configuration. If you're starting from the beginning, you have to always take a step like these are my step name, system, which SAP system configuration I'm going to use it here. Okay, that you can align it here, and the specific country, whatever the country you are going to implement. Okay, so that you need to put it here. Okay, so the respective system URL also will be putting here. So you are if you're using US for US, then BSI factory, this text profile factory, you have to enable access, that is your to be yes. Otherwise, whatever is relevant, okay, that you need to configure in this particular step. This is regarding your payroll system configuration. Other than that, we have another set of configuration here in this managed data, which are relevant for your payroll, like your payroll system assignment. Okay, so this one also we have seen in whenever you're discussing the admin side of it. Okay, so which system will be access to be given, access to whom? Okay, suppose I am giving this particular payroll system access to a particular people. Okay, that simply we have to say yes, and which system we are giving access to the particular person. Okay, simply we can assign those specific system. Okay. So this is a very similar steps. So you have to just ensure these are in place. Even if you have already covered it, okay, still this is a kind of a checklist where exactly you can set up this step number 11, like setting up a payroll configuration, choose your payroll unified configuration. Okay, that you can identify here. Okay. Similarly, your in the people profile. So whenever I'm talking configuring employee file, people profile, which is a very simple steps in the employee central side. You have to ensure whatever the fields an employee can see. In your, this is not very specific to payroll, but you have to ensure the pay statement or garnishment statement, Okay, those blocks must be existing. Okay, suppose I'm going to an employee profile configuration. Okay, so let's say, so if I follow the guide as well, so I will take you through that. Okay, I think in the guide, I think it is not there. So in the step number, this step is not there because it's a very generic one. Okay, so let's see whether it is in a demo system also, and let's check it. Okay. So here it is there in the configuring your people profile. So what are the steps you need to follow? You will be finding there, like say people profile. Configure people profile. Okay. So in these steps, you have to follow what are the relevant fields you would like to show to the employee. That block actually you have to realign. Okay. So there are different settings you will be finding. General settings. Your if you would like to add new section, you can edit here. Okay. So if I go to some of the settings, you can find out here. Okay. So for EC payroll point of view, for me most important one is my payslip. This payment information, this block. Okay. This is my important one. So in these things, if you go here, you have to ensure this is already configured in my system. Okay. So like if I go here. Okay. So payment information. This is so. As I have already included it, so it is showing remove subsection previously. Otherwise, if, suppose if you implemented EC only at present, you do not like to show this. So at that point of time, you can hide this section by clicking this show this subsection on the profile. You can hide it. But whenever you are implementing your EC payroll and all, so you can activate this thing. Okay, simply you have to come here and you have to tick this box. Okay, so this subsection to the profile, so that employee can see your payment related information. So those information he can see in his people profile. Other than that, the dependent information is already part of his people's employee. Another important part is your compensation part. Okay, like the compensation statement or recurring deduction, whatever pay component. Okay, all this information. So he can, if you like, whatever is required for the employee to see it in his profile. Okay, that simply you have to tick this box. Okay, edit this subsection and simply make it visible to the people in the people profile. Okay, so this is the regarding your compensation. Same goes with your payroll information. So when it comes to payroll information, okay,
Is
so
it
like yeah,
available in Learning Hub?
Learning Hub, I think if you go to simulation, okay, so I think they have not explained in a very detailed way, okay, but the very basic thing they have explained, like which I will show you what exactly they have followed. In Learning Hub, 2 or 3 things which I have figured it out, that is the pick list and all, those are outdated. Okay, yeah, Learning Hub, it is there. If you go to your Learning Hub, how to configure people profile, it has not been changed much in this quarter. Okay, simply they have mentioned like where exactly you have to go, and whatever I've explained to you in the sales demo instance, right? Simply they have explained. You have to simply click this, so this section on the profile. Okay, so that it will be visible. Whatever is relevant for you, those sections will be visible. Yeah, so that is the step number 9 in your Learning Hub. You'll be finding in this way how to configure the people profile. This is a very generic one, nothing difficult, and it is also applicable for all other modules as well, like the performance or any what are the information you would like to show. Simply you have to go to the people profile, configure people profile, and simply tick this box. So this section on the profile. Okay, so that particular section will be visible to that employee, okay, so that you can see it there. Okay, so it is not very difficult to follow. Okay, so this is regarding my step number 10. Okay, so step number configure employee profile is also very similar one. Okay, so this is regarding your steps which we have followed. Let me check through and the guide as well, whatever things, if anything is missing out. So this one we have already seen how to set up the payroll configuration. So this is as for this guide, this is step number 8. Okay. So only thing is whatever things, those specific configuration, the country specific configurations, you have to activate it. Okay. So this is the next step regarding your configure people profile. Yes, it is there in the configure people profile. It's already there in your this guide as well. Okay. So simply you have to make this visible. Okay. Whatever the payroll sections you like to show in the people profile or your employee central people profile. You have to follow that. The next step is regarding your payroll implementation check. Okay, so this one is interesting one. Okay, so this one is actually now it has been replaced by your check tool. Okay, so I'll be covering this one in the check tool concept. For the time being, you can go here. This is again, suppose I'm talking about payroll implementation check. Still it is existing. Suppose I'm typing payroll implementation check. I think okay. So I think it has been upgraded, so it is not, I'm not able to find it out here, but it has been now moved to the check tool. Previously we have a different tool for payroll check configuration, so now it has been moved under one umbrella, that is the check tool itself. Okay, in detail we'll be seeing whenever I'll be explaining the different tools about it. Okay, different tools available for your EC payroll integration check and all. So in this state, what exactly you will be doing, your payroll implementations, whatever your configuration, that you can check it here. That is your next step, your 16, that is payroll implementation check. Okay, it will be covered in your check tool in detail. Okay, so I am just mentioning here, but previously it was there is a dedicated payroll implementation check tool. Okay, but now it has been moved to your
So here it says step 16, but in your PDF, it doesn't say that.
In this PDF,
yeah,
because this PDF follows a different structure, right? This PDF actually different, this guide is different one. Okay, so this step
but
number
did
you
you say
ignore it.
that you have put these steps together in alignment with what is in the PPT?
No, PPT guide actually I have included more steps here. Okay, so there are some additional steps which I have added here. Okay, so for that reason this step number will be vary, like whatever the job aid you will be getting. Okay, so in this job aid the number will be different here. Okay,
So why don't you mention that in PPT so that it would be easier? I mean, not just for me, but other students also, just to refer when they are
okay.
referring to a job
So
aid.
what I will do in my indexing and all, I will simply instead of saying the step number, whenever I'll be adding this to the all-in-one guide, the page number directly I'll be mentioning here, so that it will be
Yeah,
more giving more clarity. Page number in all-in-one
yeah,
guide, because
yeah.
at present
Because
I have not
just think
added.
about it. Just think about it from
Hmm.
end user, or
Yeah.
maybe 1 month from now or 4 months
Hmm.
from now, if I'm referring back this again,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
first 8 steps they align with job
Hmm.
aid, right? It says
Yes.
very clearly,
Hmm.
and then it's all over the place.
Exactly, exactly. I can understand. Okay, so what I will do in whenever I'll be adding this one, it with merging with your this one, this guide. Okay, so whatever is been obsolete, that I will clearly mention. You do not follow the guide. Okay, so otherwise it will be little confusing. Even if SAP has not updated that guide as well. Okay, so I will just tell like you have to follow the latest. Even I'll be
Yeah,
putting
that note will be very helpful, or
Mhm.
else it's very confusing, very confusing.
Yeah,
That if
yeah,
you
yeah.
put that note or a comment that
Hmm.
this step in the job aid is
Hmm.
obsolete now, however, follow
Hmm.
this from the Learning Hub or elsewhere, that will
Sure.
be good.
Sure, sure. Actually, this activity I have done it for the EC payroll side, but EC side actually I'm lagging behind, so I have to update this deck for this. Okay, so the reference point and all. But for EC payroll side, if you see, this is actually I have clearly mentioned everything from EC payroll side. Like I have even created a separate session like this. Step number one: if you're not doing this, what will happen? Refer this section. This I have already done it for EC payroll side. Okay, but this activity I didn't get a time for to do this activity for EC side. I'll doing that. Okay, so I will updating the slides and
Maybe
I'll,
this is a good opportunity. You can do it
yeah,
through me.
yeah, definitely. Actually, it is already long back. Means for the last 2 week back, I'm lagging behind. I'm thinking to update it, but I'm not getting enough time. So this weekend, today and tomorrow, I'll be completing it. Okay, so before some Monday, you will be getting this updated tech anyway. Okay, so this is
Okay.
actually on
So
priority basis. I'm doing it.
can we please do this, Niladri?
Yeah.
Uh, so, I mean, how many steps have we covered? We were doing this payroll
Almost we
implement.
are done with step number 16. Okay, this is regarding your check tool. Okay, so in this check tool which I was explaining, the payroll implementation check which was there previously outside the check tool. So you will be now it will be finding here in this inside your check tool, nothing else. Okay. So only thing is simply you have to run this check. Then system will check if there is there any configuration missing in your system. Then system will identify. Okay. So it will be now you can see there is a error. Some error is showing me. So that is a configuration issue. Okay. So those check things, those are the things which I can check it here. Okay. Suppose I am talking about payment information. There are certain configurations. There are 12 issues found in this one configuration. What I can do, I can simply go there.
What are those 12 issues?
Okay, so what are those 12 issues which I can see it here? If I click 12 issues found, and the interesting part of this check tool is you can identify not only the error, also SAP will recommend what are the next step, how we'll resolve that error. Okay, if there is any SAP note for that from the success factor system itself, it will redirect to you. Okay, so that is the interesting part of it. So let's say, let's open it. Yeah, so here you can see if it is an event specific for that 12 issues found. So what are those issues you can identify here? If I go further, okay. So like they have mentioned, the execution of a check payment information returned some issues, and what are those results you can find out here. Okay. So like payment information portal related some configuration is missing here. Okay. So if I go here inside it, okay. So it has directly redirected to me that particular page, and it is told like these are the fields you have not maintained anything here. Okay, so these are even if they are required, you have not maintained here like the pay type, your payment method, which country, routing number, all this information you have missed out. And for what are the countries? So these are different countries. There are approximately 12 for 12 countries. Okay, so for you have not maintained all this information. Okay, so these are the information you'll be guiding. This will be guiding principle. Okay, whenever you are implementing your payroll integration and all. Okay, so you can find out directly from here. Okay, so what are those specific issues for a specific information. Okay, all the details we'll be seeing in the whenever I'll be explaining the check tool in detail, but for the time being you understand like the payroll information or the payroll related information, those implementation check, previously it was a different node, but at present it is now a part of your check tool. It is now merged with your check tool. It's step number 16. Okay, so I
So
think
let's do this, Niladri,
yeah.
please. I know you will make the updates. That is
Hmm.
good, which is fine. Could you please first forward me
Hmm.
that all-in-one P2P,
Hmm.
one with 400 or 300 odd pages?
337
Uh,
pages, yeah. Hmm.
yes, 337 pages.
Hmm.
And second, I know it's ongoing process and you will update it throughout.
Hmm.
The PPT with 400 odd pages,
Hmm.
because uh, that will help me doing the revision, because we have seen most of our content only through this PPT yet till now, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So just forward me the PPT,
Hmm.
and also indexing
Hmm.
wherever you have made your notes. For example, ECP
Hmm.
all in one, that
Hmm.
needs indexing too. But
Hmm.
at least for today, if you
Hmm.
can forward me first two, which is all in
Okay.
one P2P index
P2P.
337
Yeah,
and this PPT.
sure, sure, sure.
So what
So,
I'm going to do is
hmm.
now I think I'm lagging bit behind in terms of my revision. So I
Okay.
need when I say I need good 3-4 days, I won't be revising all
Hmm.
throughout those 3-4 days. I'll
Hmm.
just get couple of hours here and there, but
Hmm.
I'll make sure that I do my good revision.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just revise data models,
Hmm.
MDFs, get my
Hmm.
basics right, and
Okay.
also all these steps, get my thoughts around all these steps,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then we should reconvene on
Hmm.
perhaps Tuesday or Wednesday, so that I
Sure.
by that time I would have revised all these concepts really well. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Definitely, you need also time for this because you have to revisit all this concept again. Okay, so what I will do, I will immediately send it P2P as well as this PPT. Okay, so
Yeah.
then I will be start working on today. Actually, I have off. So what I will do, I will just updating this presentation. This is a very long due, overdue for me. Okay, so I'll be doing this thing. Okay, then whenever you'll be telling like Tuesday or Wednesday, then again we will reconvene. Okay,
Wednesday is good. Your
okay,
Wednesday will be my Tuesday, in fact. So
okay,
let's do it on Wednesday. All right.
sure, sure.
And can we please do this when we reconvene on Wednesday?
Hmm.
Uh, let's have a question and answer session first, because during the
Okay.
revision, I would
Hmm.
have come across few details
Hmm.
which will be in fact belonging to these steps or whatever we have done so far, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so maybe first half an hour just to
Hmm.
brush up,
Hmm.
and if you can have some sort of a 15 minutes test sort of, or you want to,
Huh.
like you did on the session number 2, something
Yeah.
on similar lines,
Sure. Sure.
so that uh, right,
Hmm.
let's do that. That will be much more easier, right?
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
yeah, you
Actually,
will
I've
also
already.
get a you will
Yeah.
also get a good comfort factor that Lokesh is following well,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So let's, can we do this or
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
next session
Actually,
and then
I've already.
proceed further with rest of the plan?
Sure, sure, sure. What I will do, actually, I have already planned it for it. But again, that is after this I have planned. So after P2P, I have planned that. But I think it will be very heavy syllabus for you. So what I will do in between, I will conduct that same means whatever the quizzes. Okay, I'll be conducting in between. Then that another session means another quizzes I'll be doing after P2P, like covering from EC payroll side. But at present, we are covering configuration from EC side, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
for this, I'll be conducting one quiz, and another quiz I'll be conducting after EC payroll side. Whatever kind of integration configuration will be done. Okay. So from that side also I'll be having one quiz that is little easy for you because we have already some of the concept. Okay. And also there are on-premise configuration, so that will be easy for you. But this side again, because it is a ECP side even. Okay. So I'll be conducting the session on quiz for that as well. Okay. So I'll just
All
make
right.
note of it and we'll reconvene on my Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah. Or can we do it on your Thursday and Friday? Meaning start on Thursday, that will be my Wednesday. I'll get
Okay.
enough time because the
Sure.
thing
Sure.
is this Saturday I'm
Hmm.
going out of town and I will
Okay.
return only on Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
So that will give me less time for revision. But if I get enough time, I want
Hmm.
to revise properly because these are some good and very important concepts. Even though
Yeah.
I understand everything, whatever you've been telling, but
Hmm.
it's good to revise. Revision is always very important as part
Yes.
of any learning.
Any learning, yeah, I understand. Reflect, revision, these are actually even sometimes I make notes. I do not follow the tradition means the people who make notes in the Excel and PowerPoint. I prefer handmade notes, like I prepare micro notes and all in my notebook to traditional style of the school days. I prepare note in that and I try to reflect. I to revise those topics. Okay, so this is the best way. So I just remember all these things and we will reconvene on mine Thursday, and
Yeah.
I will the meanwhile, I'll be sending these two things, P2P all-in-one guide and this PPT, whatever has been in the draft version. Okay. So these two things I'll be sharing with you, and indexing still it is a work in progress, and I think it will be ever for every time I have to update it here. And anyway, you'll be getting update from my side, okay, even in the training is
But
completed.
don't send the updated one or don't keep the updated one till the very end.
Hmm.
This PPT, I would suggest if you can share this
Hmm.
time itself. I mean, even if it's the PDF version, that
Hmm.
doesn't matter. But if you
Okay.
can share
Hmm.
now, not
Hmm.
just session 8 or session 6, the whole PDF, that will
Yeah.
be helpful because this is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we have been
Sure.
referring to.
Sure, sure. So entire 1300, whatever is deck is there,
Yes.
entire PDF, entire PPT I'm going to send with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we will reconvene accordingly. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
what I'll do, I'll go through my notebook also. I have
Hmm.
made some questions right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we do our question and answer session on Thursday, then we can just go through those questions, some additional questions also, which will come during my revision, and
Okay.
we'll see how it will progress. All right.
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
So that will be good. But this session was good. I mean, I'm getting a good comfort factor, but I think I'll get a better comfort once I do my revision because I'm lagging behind with my revision.
Okay, no problem. So again, these topics actually these are looks very similar, very minor thing, but actually it plays a major role. In actually, from my experience in my past project, I've ignored some of this line items, okay, which I realized during my support phase of that particular project. So I could have done that in a better way in the initial phase of my implementation. So these are very looks very silly things, small things, but you have to take care of it very carefully from the implementation point of view. From the day one itself, we have to ensure these are in place. Okay, so that is
Okay.
the importance of it. Yeah, not very difficult, but these are very important from an implementation point of view. Okay.
Yeah. All right, then you send
Yeah,
me these
sure.
two first today
Yeah,
and indexing later,
yeah,
and we will reconvene on Thursday, right?
sure, Lokesh.
And in the meantime, I wish you a very happy Friday. Enjoy your day off, all
Thank
right?
you. Same to you. Same to
And
you.
a wonderful weekend. I hope you'll get some time to relax.